Welcome back to MD Trip Creek. I'm Ben, and today in this video we're going to go ahead and finish, hopefully we're going to finish, the child slide that we're going to attach to the deck. So all that's left is to do the side rails, got to epoxy them and color them, and then install it, which is literally just carrying it up there and dropping it, gently setting it on the bottom rail of our handrails. So, hope you enjoy. Alright, so I'm back to working on the slide today. Our beautiful weather, the stretch of beautiful weather we had, it finally came to an end. We had some cold, rainy days, so prior to that, we were able to get this moved from out in the yard to here under our deck. Probably should have just started with this anyways, but I had my reasons for wanting to do it out there. So even though we were doing this in pitch black darkness is when we finally called it quits, one of the mistakes we made was I didn't have this perfectly level. I had just a slight tilt to what's supposed to be the top of the slide. That was just slightly down. So my wife, she made what she was going for was like starbursts or bullseyes, or it's kind of supposed to be like the circle with everything going out from a central point. But with that slight downward slope, what ended up happening is that design she tried to do in the dark ended up sliding over the night. And it did it very slowly, so it didn't all just run off. But by doing that, I think that gave us a much cooler effect than we were originally thinking we were going to get. Now, lessons learned, if I could manipulate that mistake again, I would have preferred it to slide down, because this is a slide, things are supposed to be sliding this way, but our effect is sliding this way. So when this is actually in place, the effect's going to be sliding uphill versus sliding downhill. But be that what it is, I'm still very happy with that final coat that we did of color. So what we need to do next is the sides. Right now it's still mostly bare wood. I did try to bring some of the epoxy up, but it just realistically it slid down, so what we have on the sides really doesn't count, because it goes smooth, smooth, bare. I mean, there's just, this is all smooth, but then this area is just bare wood, and that's bare wood. And for little kids being outside, potentially going on the slide in nothing but their shorts, or let's be honest, they're toddlers, they're at the stage where they're ripping their diapers off every chance they get. They might be going down this slide with nothing at all. I want to protect them as much as I can from splinters, and what I have now, these sides will definitely produce splinters. So I think the proper way to have done this is before you put your sides on, you had left them off, did your color coats, did your seal coat, and then attach it to the slide. Now that it's all in one piece, I'm not going to be able to do this with it on its side, or with it laying flat. What I'm going to have to do is we're going to have to actually rotate it on its side, but then I can do these two surfaces only. Then we flip it up again in a couple of days, and then we can do these two surfaces. So it's going to be more of a pain in the butt. The other thought I had is, looking back, I think the proper way to have done it is, if you're going to do it all in one piece, start with your sides. So if anything does end up on this surface, it doesn't matter. And then when you go to do this surface, you'd have this all taped up nice and neat like I did, and then it's just not going to matter. It would be much easier to have done it that way. So at this point in the game, those are kind of the lessons I've learned so far. So at this point, I'm going to tape off and use plastic to cover this, the color coat that we like, that we want to save and protect. And then I'll flip it on its side. I do have one hole, it's a giant knot hole, and there's just a tiny little bit of it poking through here. So what I think I'm going to do is, like I did on the underside, I'm going to take some window caulk, and from the outside coming in, put some window caulk in there. So any epoxy that I put in there is just not going to run through. It's actually going to have a barrier and it's going to stop. So I'm going to use that window caulk to dam up that hole. And I'm going to try to make sure that it's far enough inside the wood to where when we put epoxy down, there's actually space, you know, even if it's just a 1/16 of an inch, there's space for that epoxy to fill, so you're not seeing the actual white window caulk. So that's kind of where we're at now. So to prevent me from actually gluing this to my sawhorses with the epoxy, I'm going to put those little stir strips down, and I'm going to tape them on in place. So this way, if I do have any runoff, which I'm sure I will, hopefully it doesn't actually glue my workpiece to my sawhorses. So right now I got Ruby, my shop hand, out here. So the 16 ounces I think is the appropriate quantities for what I'm doing. So I'm going to do 8 of part B and 8 ounces of part A again. Alright, so where are we at in this project? The weather changed. It's now cold and extremely windy outside. Mama Llama and her sister washed a couple of horses right near where I was working, so we now have horsehair blowing around. I still have the problem with bugs. I'm really happy with the color coats at this point. I'm pretty sure that this is the look we want. So at this point, what I want to do is I want to do a clear coat over 100% of everything. So that's just no color being added, literally just straight epoxy. Now, with that being said, I'm no longer using spray paints. So, in my mind, I can bring this inside the house because I'm not putting the spray paint into the air anymore. The epoxy really doesn't put off an odor, doesn't put off vapors, so you can use this in a house. So, I brought it into my massive workshop. It's basically an oversized utility closet. And I'm going to attempt to try to get a clear coat over all these surfaces. Now, if I can, then I'm done. Now, with that being said about the horsehair and the bugs, what I've done is I've already sanded with, what was that? I think it was 110 grit on a palm sander. All the bugs, any little drip spots, anything that I didn't like, I went ahead and sanded down. Now, with that being said, what you can do is just take straight rubbing alcohol on a rag and wipe it all off. and it looks all scratched up, it looks kind of dull, but when you put that final layer of clear coat over what you sanded, it kind of brings it to that pristine, high shine, glossy look again. So I'm not concerned about the fact that I had to sand it. It's going to be okay. So I guess, let's take this plastic off and see what it looks like. Whoa! That's a professional slider. Whoa, that was fast.
It was so fast. You gonna go down? Good job! Oh my goodness. Yay!
Get down.
She's looking at you, knowing what she's doing is a cheat. Whoa! Uh-oh! They're getting good at this.
Sit down.
Oh my god.
Okay, now we can go.
Whoa! Good job.
Well, that concludes part 3 of building a child's slide. You know, we went ahead and finished the handrails and put it out, and oh my goodness, did the girls just fall in love with that slide. They must have gone up and up the stairs and down the slide probably 100 times. I mean, they just played and played and played and played and played with it. I think the only thing that stopped them was the fact that they started getting hungry and wanted dinner. And by wanted dinner, they started demanding to go inside for dinner, which they normally don't do. So this project was a complete success. I hope you like it. I hope you try your hand at something like this. And in fact, I challenge you, please do something like this. Do it better than me. And send us a picture on Facebook of your completed project. Again, you can get your products at Stone Coat Countertops. I'm sure there are other versions of this that you can get, but Stone Coat is a really great product to use. I've been very happy with them. We've done countertops in our downstairs living room and a bathroom. We made a river on our living room floor out of this stuff. It's super easy to work with. You have a long working time. It's fun. So whether you have just a nightstand, an end table, something, just pick up one of these kits and try it. It's a very fun process. And if you YouTube Stone Coat Countertop, he has so many videos out there of different projects you can do, different techniques, different colors, different way you can use alcohol to get different effects. It's really fun. So I challenge you to try this for yourself. Get some epoxy and some spray paint. See what you can create. And when you do, please take a picture of it and send it to us at Facebook. Would love to see it. I'm Ben with MD Triple Creek. Make sure you like and subscribe. Good luck to you and your projects.